to the Weeble Corner. I'm your host, Floppy, and today we're going to be doing another manga review. I know, it's... Recently, Coco has graduated, bringing our Cutie Coco graduation marathon to a close. Now it's back to your normally unscheduled content. Brought to you by me, your one, your only, your favorite host of all time on AnyTube, Sloppy of the Weeble Corner. Welcome back. If it's the first time here, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. And if it's not your first time here, make sure to subscribe anyways, because why the fuck not if you're not already subscribed? And make sure to leave a like, because I rewrote this, outline script several times, only for it to end up too long, because I was stupid and didn't break up this manga into chunks like I did for a silent voice. Anyways, which I probably will end up doing anyways in the future, we're going to be talking about one of the greatest letdowns in anime history. I was almost Deadman Wonderland. A great manga turned into a not-so-good anime, which I will be getting into on another date, but today, we're talking about the manga, baby. Anyways, we're going to be going through volumes 1 through 13. We're going to be doing overview. We're going to be talking characters. The characters I like, the unimportant ones that I forgot to include, I did on purpose because I didn't want to talk about them. Anyways, on to a decent-sized overview, which I will be reading mostly from the script as I have been for the past few recorded videos, which are going up in a different order than they were recorded. I know, I'm fucking stupid for doing that. Anyways, on to the overview, which is mostly going to be spoiler-free. Nothing important said here. So, you don't want to be spoiled on Deadman Wonderland, don't worry, I'm not going to go too far into it here. That's for after. So yeah, spoilers you're cool here. Don't worry, you're not going to be spoiled on anything. Whatever. Anyways, on to the overview of Deadman Wonderland. Deadman Wonderland is at its core an action story with a sci-fi twist and roots in a weirdly placed romance between the two main leads. The arc consists of a plethora of fights resulting in grave injuries, like one loser in a fight having his fucking eye ripped out. And I love it because the art is good. It's clean. Don't get me wrong. When it needs to be messy, it's fucking messy. When it gets to be clean and show the details and what is happening, it's pretty damn good. Like, you'll just be visually, nothing important is going to be happening, but you're just going to be seeing giant scope of areas. And it's really, really dope. Let me see if I can find one of the ones that I liked. Hold up. Yeah, you're going to, see, this is clean, but it's got a very specific style to it. It's kind of like the old Batman cartoon, if you will, from the Batman the Animated Series. I don't know why I call that old. It has really harsh shadows. It's like, you got the color, and you got everything you need to see on one half, and then you got everything is in black shadow. This is from volume 1, so don't worry, this isn't important. This is literally why, it happens in, the first 3 pages. You're not spoiled or anything, you're fine. It's super cool when it gets to be, when it wants to be, clean and stuff, it is, and when it's messy, it's really fucking messy. And I like its distinction because it doesn't tread too far into one without treading far and equally and more in the other. Excuse me. And I think that's just how manga is drawn in general, and it's really, really fucking cool. Here's an image from the Dead Race. This character doesn't have a name, so you're not spoiled. Oh, anyways. The fuck? I just lost it. Anyways. Then I'll use volume 2 to hold instead. Anyways, it's got really clean art, which I just touched, and it's scratched my itch left behind by Corpse Party. Tortured Souls, which is not a good anime. Don't watch it unless you're me. One of the things I found interesting was that the back of my copies give the fairly standard summary that all books have. It's 2 paragraphs. Which I'm going to read the last sentence because I have a legitimate issue with it. Because it's not exactly correct. Anyways. Ganta is determined to survive Deadman Wonderland and to clear his name, but the price may be his soul. That makes sense up until they say soul, because souls are never brought up again in the story. This is literally the one time it's ever mentioned, and it's not even within the story. It would have just made more sense if they said it would cost him his life. Because at least then it would make sense, because the way that they survive is fighting via the Deadman, the aspect that makes them Deadman, their branch of sin, which is, they used to fight by using their own fucking blood. Speaking of which, branch of sin, everybody. Branch of sin is something very special that it literally makes Deadman Wonderland. Yeah. Basically, the branch of sin part is kind of weird. It's weird to explain unless you see it, so I'm gonna do my best. Every single branch of sin user has their own type. There's a character called Crow who's badass, who basically gets these really long crescent blades on his forearms that he uses to cut the fuck out of people. Ganta has a long-ranged attack dubbed Ganta Gun by Crow, who's awesome, which I already said. And it's basically like a projectile that he can use from his palms, and it like shoots people. There's one that uses little balls of his blood to make like air mines behind people, and he can make them explode at will whenever he wants. Basically, it can do a lot of things. It's really, really neat on how it's done, and I was really happy on how it turned out. Because they could have just done, that, something or other. And they would have been like, oh yeah, it works because manga. But they actually gave somewhat of an explanation, which I will get into later, because the spoiler territory, but we are not touching on there yet. Oh my god, my hair looks horrible. God. But yeah, it's pretty dope shit. And as a rating, I will give it right now for those that don't want spoilers. As a rating, I'll give it about a 7 out of 10. It's got goofy, gory fun in it, which I love. It's a decent story. It's absurd in all the good ways. But there's just points where all the side plots take center stage and take up about a third of a volume, which is kind of fine considering the volumes themselves are pretty short. But, God, it just kind of bogs down the main plot. Like, I didn't really care what a lot of the people in the groups had going on with them. I didn't care about their backstories. Their designs were cool enough. You want to give me their backstory? Boom, here's a line about what happened. Oh, I killed my gay lover and his hooker that I caught him with. Boom, there you go. There you go. And because of Gil, I'm a crossdresser. There you go. Boom, character summed up in 2 sentences. You're done. Next person. Let's do that. No, they devoted about a quarter to a third of the volume space per little mini side character, which is fine, considering the volumes themselves are pretty short, but I kind of wanted to focus on more of the main plot. But anyways, on to actual spoilers. I'll hold back no major spoilers having to do with the core story, which will be going mostly in chronological order and not with the way that the manga presents it. Because with the way that manga presents it, there's a lot of like going back and forth into the past and into the present, near future, far past. There's a lot of that stuff. So you can check the description for a timestamp to spoiler-free version, which I don't know why I wrote that because there really isn't one. I basically went on for about 3 pages just talking about the plot. So instead, I'll give character analysis now because I know that's what some people are interested in instead of the main plot in and of itself. So yeah, I'm gonna go back on my word. We're talking about characters. Ganta is the overall main character who's got pretty flimsy plot armor, which I was actually really happy because he's able to have his ass handed to him on multiple occasions, but Shiro often bails him out and saves his ass. Or Crow does, which is fine. They're both great characters. I'm glad we got a lot of page time with them because they're cool. They're enjoyable to watch. Their designs are dope, and Shiro has other qualities. Anyways, it's just that it kind of gets annoying when you want to see Ganta get his ass handed to him, and he's getting the shit beat out of him, and you're like, yes, he's gonna lose. He's gonna have to face a punishment. Fuck, he found a way to win. Like, yeah, that's cool, and the way that they explain it, we don't see it until after they explain it. It's kind of like a weird episode of BBC Sherlock, but at least this time the results actually make sense in a sort of way. Because it basically goes, like, in one fight, which I'm going to talk about now, I don't care. He's pitted up against somebody that can just stop him from using his branch of sin because it, like, ties their branch of sins to kind of like ropes and shit, and it'll cut them. It's like, razor wire, where, like, it'll tie him down, and if he wants, it'll, like, cut into his skin, you know? Kind of like a Gudat wire. Gudat, I don't know how I'm saying it. I don't care. And he basically wins because he looked behind the person, got them distracted, looked behind, saw that there was a reflective surface, and used it to ricochet his bullet off, his gun bullet off, and hit them. I mean, yeah, it contextually makes sense because they're in an arena, but I mean, come on, you never, like, did the, oh, I can do this, which would be kind of more enjoyable instead of just saying, Gato wins, what does the loser have to go through? And then you explain it later. I kind of wish that they did the little, there's that thing that there's, and it's like, oh, I can reflect it. But whatever. I kind of wish they did one of those, but that's my personal bias. But anyways, on to back. Yeah, when Shiro or Crow don't bail him out near the end, he just gets into big fights and bitches out. It's like, yeah, your main character, you get some plot or armor, but god damn, dude, how long have you been in this prison where you got into multiple fights before? Just that when you didn't have anybody to bail you out, you ran with your dick between your legs? Come on, dude. I mean, it's logical because the guy's like 14, 15 after seeing all of his friends get axed in front of him by this mysterious red person. But I mean, come on. I want to see you kick ass. I want to see you take advantage of being the main character, not just getting scared, doing nothing, or bitching out. Because he runs away from so many fights in the story, and it just pisses me off. Because I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I like the story. I like his dynamic with a majority of the side characters. They're fun and everything. But, fuck, come on. Like, suck it up. You've been in this prison for nearly a year. You've gotten into multiple fights that you didn't back down from, but once you see that your friends are holding their own, you're just like, no, gotta go. Like, come on, dude. You gain and lose about 3 love interests over the course of the story, and yet you end up dragging Shiro along with the whole best friend shtick, but now I hate you. Fuck off for, like, a volume or 2. And you just do that over and over again. It's just retreading some of the things I hate in manga. But I mean, it's fun because it'll, like, when it starts to get irritating on page, it cuts to the cool side characters in their fight and what they're going through at this moment, which is fine because I get a break from Ganta's bullshit. But I mean, it's just personal gripes. Anyways, on to Shiro. Actually, no. Actually, hold up. There's something I want to bring up. He legitimately gains and loses multiple love interests through the story because they keep on dying until he re-meets with a person he met in the very beginning of his prison sentence, saves them, and then they fucking die unceremoniously. It's like, yes, I get the point. They were a plot device throughout the entire story, but no! This time you had actual chemistry with somebody, not, I spent my childhood with this person, I'ma stay with them for the rest of my life, even though I forgot about them for a decade and a half. What? You had actual chemistry with this person. You were getting along. You had similar interests going on. You saved their life. They saved your life. Oh my god. It just... why? Anyways, it just kind of annoys me. And I'm overreacting for no fucking reason. But it's just... why? Next, Shiro. Shiro's the secondary main focus of the story, as her and Ganta's relationship is kind of the thing that drives the majority of the plot, keeps them meeting up. because he, as I stated earlier, he goes, oh, we're best friends, but now I hate you because you did something stupid. But we're best friends again. I hate you because you're doing this thing. And there's only one time that it feels actually earned, and there's no real reaction from Shiro because plot spoiler, I'm not going to go into it now. But she's got kind of this whole weird childhood intellect thing going on, which is fine considering her situation. But with the context of the ending, her it just doesn't grow, because throughout the thing she keeps seeing shit happen over and over and over again. And all she just goes is from happy to sad, happy to sad, happy to sad, and she never grows as a mental person. And given the implications of that, by the end of the story, shit could end really fucking creepy. And it's kind of a damn shame that shit happens and she just ignores it. And just goes on with a little smile plaster on her face. She has some really genuinely badass and enjoyable moments, but fuck. There's like a legitimate thorn in my side caused by something within the plot that I'll go into again in a moment. But God. On to Crow. He's not the main character, but he's like the most enjoyable out of the side characters. Like, he's enjoyable to watch him read. It's enjoyable to see him change over the course of the story. He's like one of the few characters that legitimately grows as a character. Ganta's still a pussy throughout it. All the other side characters in the team just go through their own shit and acknowledge their faults. Crow's the only one that grows with the plot and as a legitimate character. He realizes his mistakes. He realizes what he needs to do to get past them. He gets past them in a very short amount of time. And he legitimately grows to appreciate Ganta by the end of the story. Instead of literally just being a guy that's there going through shit, gets through his shit, and he's like, whatever. He's the only character that actually grew. And now that I'm saying it out loud, there's a lot of cracks that are forming in the Deadman Wonderland story. Where I'm gonna reread it at some point. I'm still gonna have fun. You're not gonna have a bad time with it. It's fun. But if you just write things down after the fact and start saying it out loud, you're gonna notice a lot of the cracks. I'm sorry. But at least when Crow starts hating Ganta, he has a legitimate reason. He uses his branch of sin to scare the shit out of him at one point because of your friend killed my friend, but because of your influence, I'm not gonna kill you, so fuck off or your ass is dead. And that's like one of the really legitimately freaky things on how he's like, just because you helped me get through some shit and you've helped me grow, I'm not gonna kill you yet, but if I see you again, you're fucking dead. That is creepy. But a quick lightning round for all the side characters that I didn't care too much to go into it, and there's a bunch more kind of important, but fuck him, I don't care. Minatsuki Takumi, the yandere sister of Yo, used fan service powers to hang Ganta's ass to him in a fight. Yo Takumi, a weird ancestral brother of Minatsuki, who we just went over, tries to pull influence over Ganta by stealing his candy and tries to extort him, kind of like a weird Italian mafia type of thing. Kakuro Koshiro, hot and in love with the leader of the fringe group Nagi Kagame. She's tan and I love her because she's ripped. Todo Sakanami, the true director of Deadman Wonderland. Fuck. Makina, next primary warden of Deadman Wonderland, a leader of a small resistance group. Kazuya Kukiya, Makina's direct assistant. Azuma Genkaku, head of the anti-fringe group, works under Takumi. Tamaki, that guy. He's one of the directors of Deadman Wonderland and runs the advertising branch primarily. He's Ganta's ex-lawyer from when Ganta was originally charged. There's a bunch of minor characters that fit in between, but I just want to touch on the semi-important ones, which are multiple members to each of the small resistant groups, one of them led by Nagi, one led by Makina, and one by Azuma, but they don't really matter in the grand scope as their side plots get resolved before the end of the story, and their side plots are very character-focused, as the biggest point of them is just coming to grips with their situation and how they got there. Fuck. Now on to spoilers. This is gonna soak up a lot of time. Alright, this is the last warning. Leave. I'm going into it now. Ganta's mom used to work in a lab before the Great Tokyo Earthquake. The earthquake was caused by Shiro after the creation of Branch of Sin through multiple violent scientific medical tests conducted by the mad scientist who basically ripped her limb from limb, replacing over 90% of her body that he took with bodies from other failed test subjects, which is why when she isn't wearing her leotard, her body's literally riddled with scars. Like this one part where she has an entire different hand, one where she got bits of different fingers. Yeah, that. Shiro was born with a heightened regenerative ability just naturally, where she would ironically heal fairly quickly, surpassing the speed of a normal child. You see, Shiro was basically the orphan daughter of another failed test subject and was basically chosen to be tested on because Ganta's mom couldn't go through with her original plan, that being when Ganta was born, he would just immediately be taken in as the guinea pig for all sorts of fucked up tests and examinations. His mother bitched out, bringing Shiro in as the replacement, but through early childhood, Ganta and Shiro built a one-sided bond that, because of the time, Shiro had already developed her branch of sin and was doing regularly scheduled target practice, which caused her to grow cold towards basically everybody. Until she and Ganta had met, and until the age of 5, all was going smoothly for everybody until Shiro had broken out of her restraints and become wreaking havoc on the entire lab and everybody inside. Ganta hears the commotion and follows, discovering the secret and what was being done to his literal only friend. And his mom takes him, wipes his memories, sends him out to live with his dad, tries going back and killing Shiro, ends up capping her own ass. And now the Great Tokyo Earthquake, and everything was blamed on the earthquake, even though it was all caused by Shiro, which I mentioned above. Fuck. Now he's at school and in middle school at this point. There's a big old time skip there. I love it. Delicious. Amazing. Anyways. Yeah. Several years later, Ganta's now in middle school, and he's about to go on a field trip to Deadman Wonderland with his class until the Red Man attacks, killing everybody but Ganta. He's arrested, sentenced to death through a rigged court trial. And now he's at the fabled Deadman Wonderland amusement park, where he's to live out his sentence, or every 3 days, he's got to eat a piece of candy with an antidote, or he'll fucking die. Yeah. Deadman Wonderland is a twisted, fucked up amusement park that is staffed by the prisoners of the Deadman Wonderland private prison, which is located just below the theme park. Multiple escape attempts are made by our main cast to no true avail, but what they do manage is to get the general public is footage of the literal cruelty treatment of the prisoners and accidentally get the secret of the Deadman via video footage out, which causes all sorts of court issues. Over the course of the story, Ganta develops technically 2 romantic interests through Shiro and a girl he met through his sentence, but it doesn't really matter considering she's literally just a plot device, which I earlier labeled as Girl B, which I brought up earlier as well, but didn't really name her. And she becomes a plot device for these, like, I'm trying to think of the word, kind of like, fuck. Kind of like not naturally made Deadman. The guy that I think his name was Takumi earlier mentioned him. Yeah, Tamaki. He's fucking weird. But he essentially creates these kind of like Deadman. They have similar powers, kind of. But he ends up going fucking nuts and essentially uses this girl as like a primary source and literally makes her one of these like fake Deadman. And Ganta gets in a fight, unmasks her, goes crazy and saves her ass, bringing literally her humanity back, because the way it's done through these masks and mind control. Yeah, it's one of those. Sorry. But it's just he essentially starts running off with her down a hallway, gets an announcement saying that his friends are going to be killed if he doesn't turn himself in. And like an idiot, because the guy that does it, the true director of Deadman Wonderland, I need a name. Todo Sakigami. He never gives any evidence. He's like, I'm gonna kill everybody you know and all your friends in here if you don't turn yourself in. And he just does it, leaving her in this old elevator shaft with Shiro nearing the end of the story. And I got so pissed because Shiro's character was legitimately interesting up until this moment. because I think it's at this point where it's revealed that she is. It's not revealed at this point. It's actually revealed earlier that she is the Red Man. She's the one that does everything. But it's so shameful because it's cool. Don't get me wrong. The idea of it is neat. It's just that the way it was done, they literally. I feel like it was gonna be done a different way originally, but it was changed possibly by the editor to where Shiro was like originally supposed to be this like incredibly intelligent being that was just wrapping Ganta around her finger the entire time, considering her past. But no, they just went for the cop-out of, it's a split personality. And it's legitimately named that. It's not insinuated. They legitimately state that because of her past trauma, she now has dissociative identity disorder, which pisses me off because they just went for a cop-out answer instead of being legitimately cool and having her be super intelligent, wrapping Ganta around her finger and eventually fully breaking him because he's related to one of the people that was causing her so much childhood harm. Like, it was gonna be so cool. Because there's two personalities in Shiro. The fucking crazy genocidal murder maniac that takes the form of the Red Man, basically takes control over her whenever they want. Whenever she's not mentally sound. There's that, and then you have childhood innocence Shiro, which is in love with Ganta, which is a damn shame because it would have been so cool if they were just one same mental person, where it was just Shiro, who is incredibly intelligent because she lived in a lab her entire life, probably picked some mental shit up, mentally tortured Ganta by killing everybody he loved, and eventually his love interest that he just saved the ass of by ripping her head off. And that would have been so cool. But no, they were like, nah, we're just gonna have Shiro have a split personality, yeah. Seems like an easier explanation instead of just making her this, like, incredibly intelligent, incredibly clever, charismatic character that's just out to fuck with Ganta in the worst of ways. Taking over his mental state, making him fall in love with her, just to reveal that she killed everybody he loved and ultimately killing him while he's in the world's greatest case of despair. That would have been so cool. But no, they're like, split personality. Yeah, that's easier to write. Or probably because the editor thought it was going to be too controversial, considering they had fucking people getting ripped apart in this story. I don't know what they were doing with that. Fuck. Because at one point, literally everybody in the prison, except for this one person, starts to hate Ganta and want him dead, including Shiro, all of his friends, because he pusses out every time they try to escape. All the groups hate him. All of his once friends hate him. Shiro is gone because he said that, Shiro, I hate you. I never want to see you again. Shiro's gone. There's nobody left for him. He runs into this person that he met in the beginning of this day. This one person doesn't hate him. They have chemistry. She gets mentally tortured. He saves her. They are happy to be around each other. They continue to have chemistry, and then that gets taken away in front of him. Now he is truly alone because he finally realizes that and comes to the grips of to a point where, everybody that I'm around is destined to either die or hate me forever. I need to be alone. If I ever run into Shiro again, that's going to be the one person that likes me. I need to mend my bond with Shiro ASAP. That thought alone could be so interesting and, really just would be cool. And the story is already absurd. You're having prisoners run a theme park. You're having poison that would kill them every 3 days if they don't eat candy. That would be so cool. But no, it's split personality, yeah. But she's not gonna do anything about it because she's the damsel in distress. So we're gonna have everybody save Shiro, and then her just not be thankful at the end. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Fuck. But after Ganta sees that Shiro is the Red Man, and that Shiro rips off the girl he had chemistry with, and I think her name was Azami, literally holding her decapitated head, he essentially gets into a fight with Shiro, like a full-on physical fight, gets his ass handed to him. He doesn't even get his ass handed to him. He's like, "Bet your ass, take it." And this doesn't even get a chance to refuse because he gets knocked out almost immediately. Wakes up. Now everybody for sure hates him. I needed to fix that. Apologize. He has literally nobody. But at this point, the prison's already gone down the shitter. All the controversies are coming to light. This security staff has been dissolved, led by the G-cupped warden, which is canon. She says it in Volume 1. I'm sorry. Has left, forming a fringe group all focused on taking down the big boy on top of Deadman Wonderland. He's fucking demented. Not your normal anime villain, crazy and evil bullshit. He legit murdered, killed his mother just because she wouldn't let him play PC. After the Great Tokyo Earthquake. He's like, "Come on, honey, we gotta save power for everybody else." Bam, 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 bam. "Fuck you, woman, I'm gonna PC." Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, he doesn't even sound crazy. He just sounds like the average PC player. Is that the worst joke I made? But he uses his weird skills that he learned from dating visual novels to literally become the advertising head at Deadman Wonderland, and then eventually taking the director's place after he dies, or so he thinks. And has to die because this is going to be weird to explain, but bear with me. The original Deadman Wonderland was the mad scientist doing all those experiments on Shiro, who made a machine to put his consciousness of a body, essentially pulling a Get Out, putting the original consciousness into paralyzed state where they're just a witness to everything. So whoever was in the body before the director is basically unable to do anything except wait until they die. And it was done basically about 4 or 5 times. And the last time we see it as the old man in the beginning isn't actually director. He's kind of like a placeholder, since the director's in the body of a prisoner and needs Ganta's body, since his branch of sin has the correct genetic makeup code to use as the key to kill Shiro's innocence consciousness and unleash the genocidal maniac permanently, who is free of any emotion aside from joy, which comes from when she kills literally everybody in a huge ass group. And it's kind of confusing when you can't read or see it, so I literally did my best to kind of simplify it, because there's nothing bad about it. It's just kind of weird. And considering the story's absurdity up until this point, I can't say I'm really surprised. There's also a weird side to the characters that's introduced here, and the director nurses him back to, there's a weird side character who's the director's kind of sister, who's obsessed with him, and all she really does is nurse him back to health and is never seen again. It's here we are, alright, oh, you're leaving, bye. I guess I'm gonna leave the story permanently. That's it. That's it. That's her entire character. All she does is "Oh, you're gonna die? Nope, you're healed. Oh, you're leaving? Oh, fuck. I didn't get it. Kill him yet." But there's it's just weird and kind of irritating, because you could have just had one of the fringe groups or one of the other people do it, whatever. Oh my god, excuse me. I'm so angry. I've been yelling so much that I'm yawning now. Shit. Anyways, back to the main story plotline. After Ghana and Shiro's really big fight, the director starts stealing branches of sin to try locking away Shiro's innocent consciousness, but the ultimately no avail. Figures out Ghana's branch of sin shall work because of child connection or some DNA technobabble bullshit. Didn't make much sense to even me, a reader, and I read it twice. But there's another fight where Ganta sacrifices his ass to save Crow, who followed Ganta to save him from the director. The director then takes Ganta and mind rapes him to do a huge memory transfer, which undoes the mind wipe done by his mom a decade before, and now he knows everything. Ganta breaks out at the last second, saved by Crow again. When the group finds the key that the lock will lock away Shiro's one of 2 personalities, which is confirmed to be caused by dissociative identity disorder within the story. The director cuts them off, and now there's an even bigger fight between our scrappy group, the fucking military, a fringe rebelling group bent on taking down Deadman Wonderland, and the director. Due to this mini-war battle, Deadman Wonderland goes full Akira ending, locking away the genocidal maniac forever. But at the downside of leaving her in a comatose-like state for a year. All the other side characters are mini plots fulfilled with all roses, rainbows, hunky-dory, and giving our characters their happy little ending. Now to re-go over characters in more detail. Ghana, main character, flimsy plot armor. Busts out because he sucks at times. And he passes out on multiple fights, which would result in a hell of a rough morning. But he would just keeps his homies around as time flies because he bitches out. And it's important to the group that he doesn't, because he keeps trying to be a part of more. But when it comes time to nut up or shut up, he leaves. But it's kind of a love-hate relationship with this fact, because it's realistic, but it also gets really annoying. And it interrupts the story flow, but it's realistic to a 14, 15-year-old, because he basically saw his friends get ripped apart limb from limb and vice versa. And he gains and loses about 3 love interests throughout the story, but he ends up dragging Shiro along with the best friend's I hate you, fuck off shtick for the length of the story. And I ultimately wish he had gotten with Girl B, who I think is Ayami, I don't remember her name. But she was decapitated by Shiro. But since they had legitimate chemistry through their on-page interactions, I was legitimately disappointed. Anyways, on to Shiro, who's the secondary main focus of the story, as her and Gana's relationship is one of the main one of the main driving forces of the plot. She has this whole childhood intellect act going on, which is fine considering her situation being 2 personalities in one mind. But with the context of the ending, her secondary personality never merges. It's just literally locked away in her subconscious forever. Fucking Batman Arkham Knight style. And which, given the context of the ending, which is her and Ganta getting together, considering her primary personality, the innocence of Shiro never grew over the course of the story. The implications can be really fucking creepy. And it's a damn shame that she essentially had the genocidal maniac have her mental state locked away, because it wasn't her that did it. She didn't do shit, let alone having tried any sort of impact on her, leaving with her just giving her no character growth. And it's a shame, because she's constantly squeezed onto Ganta's shirt corner with a smile plastered on her face, getting genuinely good and enjoyable badass moment. But fuck, does a split personality thing drive it down a notch or 2 for me? I would have had a much more enjoyable time if Shiro was just so mentally unhinged because of her childhood trauma that she literally just wanted Ganta to suffer so much mentally and physically to the point where she could literally do whatever to him. I would have loved that. Would it be a different story? Fuck yeah. Would it be amazing? Double fuck yeah. But I do think it was the original idea, because there are hints of it early on, like when one of the side character at one point puts 2 and 2 together, figuring out Shiro as a fabled red man. But she turns around, eyes him, gives him a look that says, if you say anything, your ass is not going to get a chance to even look like grass. You are going to be F-U-C-K fucked if you say anything. Say shit and your sister's ass will look like your ass. But it seemed to have been changed later on to the split personality cop-out, which is a shame, as I said multiple times. And that's kind of it for the mains. Crow's not a main character, but he's pretty badass, and I do like talking about him. He's an ex-cop whose 4 colleagues were slaughtered in front of his eyes, which caused him to lose it, dispatching their murderers on the scene. After which, he has the initials of his colleagues tattooed on it above his left or right brow. And his branch of sin forms these long talon blades in his forearms. And he explains himself as someone not to kill without reason, but he won't hesitate if he gets in a fight. He also is the much-needed sprinkle of comedy around whenever he's dressed like around scantily clad women, and it's pretty funny considering it's literally only done about 4 or 5 times throughout all 13 volumes. But at one point it's done in like volume 2 or 3, and then it's just immediately forgotten about, which kind of sucks for a while. But at one point he just, over time, he's influenced by Ganta, becomes soft to the point where he grows to hate Gana, and uses his branch of sin to double the weight of Ganta's pants at one point because of a your friend killed my friend, but because of your influence, I'm not going to kill you, fuck off or you're dead. Like a back and forth occurs, and now Ganta has the weight of 3 pants on his ass. But in the end, he just turns around and helps Gonta and the rest of the group because Gonta kind of saved his ass and kind of had a quick redemption arc. But with that, we bring this manga review to a close. As I stated earlier, it's a 7 out of 10, but going more into it with plot spoilers, it's kind of a 6, which really sucks because I had a great time with it. You're not going to have a bad time reading this. It's like watching Spider-Man 3, but with the idea of that it's intentionally a comedy. You're not going to have a bad time with it. But is it good? Kinda. It's fun, it's enjoyable. Next time we talk about this story, it's going to be the anime. I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave a like for my rant. And I don't know why this is 40 minutes, but fuck it. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'm your host, Sloppy. I hope you enjoyed your time here within the Weeaboo Corner. And if you did, make sure to press like and subscribe, even though I already said it. This took too fucking long because I rewrote this script several times and it still ended up being over 6 pages long. But I hope you enjoyed at least a little bit. I am Sloppy. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Later.